And there we go. We are here with the first game between the rulers of Rome and the SlayeRs, which is going to be played on islands. It should be the home map of the SlayeRs from what I have seen in the game room. And that's going to be a whole lot different dynamic because, as you can see, today we are going to be playing just a 2v2, not standard 3v3 as we are used to in RTS League. So yeah, it's going to be a bit different and definitely curious how it's going to be playing out. The civilizations apparently are gonna be Vikings and Huns for both of them, and since this home map is actually taken by SlayeRs, they are probably thinking that against an arena heavy player like Angelina Jolie, and I'm thinking Tom is arena player as well, but not entirely certain about that. Maybe someone in the chat will have a bit better knowledge on his expertise. Well, they're hoping that that's gonna be, yeah, a whole lot different kind of game, and they're probably true, so I'm kinda thinking that this choice of the home map makes plenty of sense for the SlayeRs. As for some kind of rating or whatnot, both RoRs are about 2k. They are quite high skill players in here. Apparently they're already talking about both going front dogs, so it's gonna be full feudal galley rushing from them, from RoRs. And for the SlayeRs, I'm kinda expecting it's gonna be something similar, because on 2v2 going for fast castle is always kinda weird, I'm thinking. Especially because, yeah, you're just gonna be very easily under attack by either of the players. And this is a funny island. I think this is not possible for boats. And looking how it's actually coming all the way here for the red player, for SlayeR, all the way into the middle of the map. This is kind of funny, and could be actually making for some very sneaky landings and whatnot. He could be basically doing a good job trying to at least wall this off by some houses and whatnot. But really, this is unusual spawn, and definitely curious how the players are gonna be approaching it. If the game is gonna be decided solely on the water, or maybe if there's gonna be some kind of attempt on a sneak or whatnot. Definitely curious about that. If the game goes late game, then we're gonna be having quite plenty of gold on the left side, on the little island in here, and on the second little island as well. They are basically in more or less full power of SlayeRs right about now, because especially of the middle of the map in there, so it's potentially some kind of bonus for the later game, but I don't exactly expect it's gonna be that much coming into the late game, as the skill difference is kinda there, but yeah, at the same time it has to be said that RoRs are more or less arena experts, so they're not really assured that the 2k level is gonna be applying to something so different as is, for example, a water map. For SlayeRs, as far as the level goes, if I remember correctly, Arcan is about 1750. And SlayeR should be better. I think he is... I don't really want to lie right about now, but he is, I'm thinking, 1800 plus, so quite a competent player. So we should be expecting him to be actually the most important player in the game, and in that case it's of course lucky that he's the one with the funny island in there, so that he can potentially somehow take it into consideration with his tactics and whatnot, and really make it count for his side in the game. Otherwise, of course, the front dogs from Angelina Jolie, that's gonna be the same for Tommy as well, as they've already messaged us about that. And for the opponent so far, we are looking at, well, kind of the opposite. You can see they are both coming actually for a dog at the backside, which is kind of interesting. And it might actually then result into something a bit different than just standard galley rush. But for that, maybe I would have kind of liked if they are actually hoping to overcome higher skilled opponents, maybe to go for something surprising, like for example, I think Byzantines are actually kind of fun with the fire ships and whatnot, if you actually go for that. And that could be kind of available in the 2v2, I'm thinking. But yeah, well, so far it seems like that everybody's just gonna be coming for the galley rushing, and it's gonna be just confirmed or disproved, of course, by the advances into the feudals. Well, in the meantime, we can just, for example, check how are the fishies around the map. Seems to be quite alright in the corner for SlayeR in here on the left. For yellow also, not really bad at all. It's gonna be quite decent help in the advanced times and whatnot for them. But for the opponents, it's gonna be a whole lot different. Especially because of this very funny shape. I'm probably gonna be returning to this quite often. And I'm really curious if this is actually possible for boats. Because sometimes some width actually is possible for boats. But I'm kinda thinking this might be one square too much. Right now he's at least scouting what kind of funny islands he having. He's definitely probably having a laugh right about now. Well, definitely probably. Can just probably pick just one of those. But at the same time, this is, at this point, quite lucky that Blue is having so many fishies in here. Because he also could have drawn a shorter straw and have absolutely nothing. Like for example, in here, there's not much of fishies in this point of the map. But, well, of course, this is gonna be quite lucky for him, and he should be having quite a nice early stage of the game. Otherwise, for purple, it's gonna be supremely fine. You can see all the deep fish basically right next to the shoreline. This is exactly what you want in any game whatsoever. And otherwise, let's, for example, before the players advance into the next age, what is the situation with the gold? Because that is second best way to potentially kill your opponent. Basically just prevent him from getting gold, and yeah, it's gonna be very hard for him to make any kind of boats, because of course they cost gold, quite obviously. So this gold mine is kinda unfortunate because of the wood line. It could be definitely targeted in Castle Age. War galleys, I'm thinking, are gonna be able to shoot here already. Galleys definitely, or the galleons definitely in the Imperial Age. But otherwise, with the second gold fairly safe, yeah, there's not gonna be any issue at all. Not gonna be an issue at all for the purple player, and I was looking for blue. Also, very safe gold, and this one is probably a bit worse than the one that we have seen for Tommy. So this is gonna be in Castle Age, definitely under attack, but the second gold mine is quite fine, so not really any kind of long-lasting problem for him. Saki gold mine as well for yellow, and there's the second one, somewhere in the middle of the island. So far it seems like that basically one kind of bad gold and the other one being quite fine seems to be the theme for this game overall, and it's slightly better, it seems like, for Zirael, who is having very nice gold mine in there, and this one is not really that bad. It's kind of similar to, I'm thinking, this one, yeah, from Tommy. So it seems like that maybe in the Castle Age it could be problematic, but still he's having, yet again, as all the other players, the second one there as well. Only Zirael was going for advance a bit later, you can see at 23 villages, which is still nothing into fast castle or whatnot, so it seems like everybody coming for fairly standard build up into Galley Russian and whatnot. So feudal age is gonna be up for the warfare as well. It's almost looking like that actually the deer is feasting on the fishies in here or having a drink from the seawater. Yeah, well, definitely don't recommend that, as that's not gonna be tasting all that well. You can see that actually this one is gonna be joining her. Oh well. Well, but let's return to some kind of reasonable fighting in here that is gonna be starting just in about now. So purple, apparently, since he has advanced quite well and quite fast, is already gonna be coming through the bottom, which seems like the same the same course that has been chosen by Arken. It's already coming there as well. That's gonna be, of course, the placement and position for Arken to retreat a bit, or at least wait for the second boat. As of course it's gonna be Viking versus Han on both flanks. So yeah, potentially you would be expecting that the Vikings should be having the upper hand in the long run, but in the early stages it's all about the proper numbers. So yeah, they just confirming what are their opponents, and they will be knowing that is the same as they have chosen, so not really any kind of surprise for either team. So far 3 versus 2, with some reinforcements of course on the way. Well, some, actually plenty of them, but same could be true of course for the yellow player. Come on, don't forget this one's gonna be very important for the numbers in here, but they are still having plenty of both of them, so this is gonna be fairly equal fight, it seems like. Let's switch to the left side, where so far we don't really see any kind of engagement at all, like literally at all, which is fairly surprising, but finally it's gonna be happening right now between the blue player and the red, and so far blue seems to be having slightly, ever so slightly more. But yeah, it seems like the Viking Zirael is already getting up the numbers, and since we are fighting next to docks of the red player, he should be having the advantage if he actually micros properly. Well, a bit of a hit and run in there, definitely gonna be working. Maybe the villager doesn't need to really escape all that much. He could be probably repairing a few boats here and there. That's something we have seen, for example, yesterday from Nikov. He was just keeping the villager right next to the shoreline all the time, trying to repair the boats in the early fights, and if you can micro it, it actually making plenty of difference. Quite plenty of difference, and can be disrupting the numbers quite significantly for your side, of course. It's kind of funny little pond, and I'm fairly certain and positive this is actually passable for boats. So they should be able to even escape into this little pond in there. But at the same time, it also could be working for the enemy, and he could be abusing a whole lot more economy than is usually, rather than is usual. So this basically kind of adds up to all the oddities about the starting island of Zirael, besides the funny middle island. Or rather, middle island kind of... Yeah, well, it's probably middle island, somehow connected to the mainland. Probably shouldn't have spawned that way, but yeah, well, the random generator decided it's gonna be fun, and well, let's see if there's some kind of other fun on the other side of the water. So, this is probably gonna be developing into 1v1s, and in 2v2s, usually the water battles are decided, or maybe even land battles. Doesn't have to be water battles, but it's a bit more prominent and evident in those when you can actually get some 2 versus 1. Usually when you are able to outmaneuver your opponents into a significant 2 versus 1, that's the point where you win. So we're gonna be waiting for some kind of opportunity like that for either of the sides in here. But so far it seems like that both are playing quite cautiously and on quite equal footing. You can see, well, just 10 points of a difference between them, even in the team score. You can see how they jump in against each other on the scoring there. This is basically telling us that this game is fairly equal without any kind of problems for either team so far. In here, I would be definitely favoring those Israel. This is kind of interesting that Blue is having so few boats. Aha, he's having reinforcements that he has sent in. He didn't send in yet. Okay, so that's the reason. And at this point, Zerael shouldn't be really that scared. He is the Viking. So the Vikings should be having always the advantage in there. So I'm really surprised that he's not taking a bit more aggressive approach, because he definitely could be. You can see even Arkan selling a bit of stone and whatnot so that they can advance it through next ages. But Angelina Jolie, yeah, right now advancing into Castle Age. He won't want to actually engage, as opposed to what we are seeing right now at the bottom, as he doesn't want any kind of losses before he gets the power spike. Yeah, you need to be optimistic and hoping that you're going to be always a bit faster than your opponent. Well, here though, it seems like that actually, that's a bit of a miscommunication right there. Tommy actually thought that yellow is gonna be coming somewhere, but yeah, well, it's not really true. Let's switch into Tommy, what he actually sees of the map. Yeah, he doesn't see anything, so he was probably thinking this is an island in the middle of the map. Yeah, well, it isn't. There is a bit of a cove. Yellow already retreated just in time, even though, yeah, apparently this one didn't. That means that, of course, he's probably luring him into a bit of a mistake in there, yellow. He doesn't have the numbers, I'm thinking. I think the numbers are quite similar, especially considering all the reinforcements coming in. Arkin should be supremely careful, as he did already lose a few units in the first engagement in there. And this second one, oh, that's gonna be a bad one. That's gonna be a very bad one. Well, but that's something that should be happening at the top as well, because that's a Viking having more boats, exactly as you would be expecting against the Han. Definitely right now having a significant advantage as everybody's advancing into the castle age in there. And yep, Tommy just right now dementing what he was saying a bit before. That the yellow player is definitely not attempting any kind of double right now. In the meantime, on the top side, well, top left side, let's say, now the numbers seem to be already kind of equal, as Blue is definitely waiting for his advantage, which is gonna be coming in a reasonable time, just about here, it seems like. Yeah, right now retreating, as he is probably recognizing that he needs to wait for his own castle age as well. Botkin RoR galley coming up from Angelina Jolie. And I'm really curious how this is gonna be resolved, because so far it seems there might be slight advantage at the bottom battlefield, but the top one is fairly equal in basically all things and all intents and purposes. And right now Purple finally decided that it could be a good time for him to advance forward, as he is advancing through Castle Age and hoping for the power spike. But looking at the boats, plenty of them, kinda deadish. Yeah, about 3 basically dead. Oh, 3 to 4. That's not exactly great when you are trying to fight right next to opponent's docks, because of course he's gonna be having much faster ability to replace any kind of potential losses. So here we go, that's gonna be yellow taking the advantage, and before the war galleys actually hit in, it's kinda surprising that actually Purple was taking this fight, that he wasn't waiting for a bit more efficiency with the war galleys in there. But yeah, right now yellow, seeing all of that, needs to retreat a bit back and wait for his own war galleys. And he also should be replacing the docks. He's having 4 witches at this stage, kinda alright. Maybe he could be wanting a bit more in there. But yeah, let's see how the war galley battle is actually gonna be coming. Right now it seems that both teams are actually engaging on both flanks. Yes, it's gonna be yellow taking things a whole lot more carefully. Maybe he could be a bit more adventurous right now. But yeah, he could be just trying to micro actually into the dead boats, and he could be reducing 4 boats in a very short amount of time, and that could be really deciding the battle for him very easily. But yeah, apparently that didn't cross his mind yet. So it's gonna be up to some kind of natural warfare to potentially put that into play. In the meantime, on the left, this is looking very well for Red. He should be pursuing. It seems that he's kinda having a bit more respect of Angelina Jolie than he should be really having. Because at this point, yeah, he was definitely having a few more boats in there and could have pushed the advantage, but he sometimes just doesn't take, or sometimes he like never takes actually the potential upper hand, which is of course giving plenty of opportunity for Angelina Jolie to somehow wait with his economy and wait for some kind of better timing for the attacks. And maybe, just maybe, it could also lead to actually Blue sooner rather than later switch to sides switch the sides also to the right and join with Tommy. Definitely could be some kind of idea. In the meantime, for example, economies are more or less the same. 41, 43 for RoR. For SlayeRs, we are looking at 43, 42, so basically literally the same. We are just looking at slightly higher score for Tommy, which is kind of curious, but it's explained by the fact that he's doing slightly better in the water battles. Yeah, he's slightly more efficient in that, and that's probably the reason why he is up in the score, but not really by much. As you can see that SlayeR is actually catching up with him quite competently in there. Unfortunately though, Arken is, yeah, of course, having the lower score, exactly for the reason that Tom is having the higher score. So that's the reason for all of that. But at the same time, oh, come on, so much maneuvering, but without any kind of effect, really. I have to say for Yellow, we have all this maneuvering, little maneuvering by boats is costing him so much damage. So much damage because he's basically not shooting. He would be doing a better job of not trying to basically micro in there, because that kind of micro is just not exactly what's gonna be new the battles in there, unfortunately. So this was a very good battle for Tommy. So right about now, I'm thinking that Tommy is already one step ahead of his opponent, and that's a pretty giant leap, to be honest, not really a step. And since he's a Viking, he should be having kind of problems losing the position now. Thinking this is gonna be very hard for Arken to come back from, and it's gonna be all about SlayeR if he's gonna be able to do the same to the blue player, and it seems that he actually might. Is this really the whole blue army? Wow. Okay. So we actually caught Angelina Jolie off guard quite significantly so, and that means that the game is still very much equal. It's still very much equal because both Vikings have been able to overpower their opponents. You can see Angelina Jolie right about now sending absolutely everything out of this wood line because it's gonna be under attack very soon. Very soon, as we're having probably a bit of a pause in here. And on the left, well, yeah, Yellow is just gonna be trying to run away and hoping that he can somehow rebuild this a navy somewhere, but I don't really expect that's gonna be the case for him all that much. So this seems like that this game is gonna be aiming into who's the better Viking. That's gonna be basically SlayeR versus Tommy, as it seems that both of the hands are right now kinda out of the water, more or less. Maybe Angelina Jolie is gonna be having a bit more fight in him. He's having plenty of dogs and even rebuilding to the right side. But still, yeah, this gold is gonna be under attack pretty soon, and he will have to switch to the other one in the middle island, exactly as we said at the very start of the game. So in the meantime, economies 47-50 for RoRs, for the opponent 44 and 48. So the economies are slightly better right about now for RoRs. They were kinda equalish about 2 minutes ago. But it seems like that RoRs are opening the throttle a bit. Trying to get there, trying to get the advantage in that. So whilst we are having the pause, let's check the players. How's it looking with their economies? So Tommy doesn't seem to be getting into Imperial Age anytime soon. Angelina Jolie. Maybe, as we right now getting out of the boss, I'm kind of thinking that he actually might be coming there. For Arken, it's looking very bad. You can see absolutely no food economy. It's not looking promising for him at all, especially since he's right now gonna be losing the water in full. And for the last player, we have already seen that or not. No, we haven't. SlayeR, who is in kind of similar situation to actually Angelina Jolie, but he is definitely housed. And has he actually realized? Yes, but he will need to build plenty more houses, some town centers and whatnot, and it's gonna be helping him with the population, of course. In the meantime, the few boats are gonna be waiting there for Angelina Jolie, but otherwise he definitely needs to... he should be probably right now calling for a bit of help, because at this point Tommy definitely can help a bit, and it seems like he's gonna be heading there, but it's gonna be all about if he can actually pass this little piece of land, because if he cannot, he's gonna be very far away, even though already reinforcements are coming in, and this is probably gonna be what's gonna decide the game. And it is what I actually said at the start, because in 2v2s, usually the team that is going to be able to overpower their opponents and position themselves into some 2 versus 1 is usually going to be winning, because that is a huge advantage, one that is very hard to actually come back from. Alright, so plenty of red boats though, and purple should be definitely sending the whole fleet, which he right about now is, and that could be some kind of opportunity for Yellow, because even though he has lost all the boats, this one scouting and patrolling both in there, basically just keeping the opponent off the foot, which is the reason why actually Arken was having such big problems with the foot in there. Well, it's definitely gonna be opportunity for Arken to come back and potentially somehow still be alive in the game, but he's switching into coinage, so he's probably gonna be switching into sling. and that will be giving plenty of resources to Cyril. And maybe as a Viking, he could be still overcoming the opponents that way. You can see already the food coming in there, so they're gonna be hoping to actually jump him into the Imperial Age, but it might be just a bit too late because Tommy is already advancing. And has he been sling? No, he hasn't. So that's basically just his skill propelling him into the last age. And oh well, yeah, as they are right now waiting for the correct boats, correct number of boats that are just basically right now coming around the island. Yeah, we're gonna be waiting for the Imperial Age spike, which is gonna be coming much sooner for our wars. And not even the sling is probably gonna be enough at this point. I don't exactly expect that too much. So Angelina Jolie just gonna be waiting for his ally to advance, as he's gonna be advancing into Imperial Age as well, actually. So that's quite a good job right now by our wars, and at this point they are most probably heading into quite a significant advantage against their opponents, because not even the sling is enough to actually put him into reasonable timing into the next age as opposed to your opponents. Yeah, Red is having plenty of boats, but of course, with the other attack right about now by Purple from the bottom, it's gonna be of course very hard. And if he can even house his opponent, it's still gonna be quite a good idea and quite a big problem for Zirael, because you can see he's having 130, but if he loses like 3-4 houses, it's already gonna be becoming a problem, especially since he is on the sling by side. In the meantime, of course, plenty of boats all around, basically keeping yellow intact as far as any kind of comeback into water goes, and it seems that really Purple is doing a good job keeping his opponent off the water and just keeping him slinging, which is most probably not gonna be working in the long run. Let's see though, let's not be too hasty. Maybe there's still gonna be some kind of fight that will be helping the Slayers, and our wars might be mismanaging. That always can happen, and could be basically something that will put them in kind of impossible situation if that were to happen. So plenty of boats from Red in there, plenty of them also on the right, so it seems like the numbers are gonna be working towards this advantage. It seems very promising as Tommy is coming already for the Galleon, and he's probably gonna be right now coming forward, trying to kill any kind of reinforcements that are just right now being made, and also in the meantime getting rid of the docks here and there. Yep, there are gonna be some rebel docks of course at the top, because he needs to do exactly that, and well, of course Red, as he is eyeing his Imperial Age as well. Fortunately for him, Angelina Jolie is not really that far behind herself, rather himself, of course. And yep, Tommy just basically right now scouting how many docks Israel is actually having. So yeah, maybe sling, and it's definitely right gauging of the situation. So that's what actually differentiates the players and their skill, when they can actually quite nicely notice, based on some telltale signs, what's happening with the strategy and tactics of the enemy team. So Red having plenty of boats right now at pretty much the one spot, as he has kind of relinquished the place right next to his docks on the left side. It seems like that, of course, with the Galleons in already there, he might be really wanting to send the boats already into some kind of big engagement, but they seem to be a bit more interested in a bit of an attrition war in there, and hoping that they can basically kill anything new that Zirael will be making, and in the long run, they're just gonna be coming up in the numbers, and that's gonna be working for them. Well, already of course Galleons as reinforcements coming from the docks of Tommy. As for the yellow player for Arken, yeah, well, unfortunately it doesn't seem like that he's gonna be allowed to take the water any more time. Not even gonna be allowed to come back, and it's gonna be really all about the Red player if he can somehow win with the sling in his hands. And of course in his resource pile. So far he's doing a good job against Angelina Jolie, which is not exactly all that much of an achievement, because of course Angelina Jolie was the one with the weakest game so far on the islands, and one who actually Zirael was able to beat. But well, in the meantime, of course, the purple boats are going to be growing in numbers, and once our wars timed properly destroy all the fleet that the Red player is so far having, then, well, yeah, it's gonna be kinda impossible to come back from. So purple and blue, well, I'm kinda really interested what they are exactly waiting for, because of course right now purple will have to retreat. This could have been a pretty good spot, I'm thinking, for blue and the remainder of the purple to actually come back and maybe take the engagement in that. But yeah, well, apparently didn't want to, which is giving all the extra time to Arken to somehow amass a few more boats and hope that he can still make something happen. Okay, this is gonna be an important battle apparently. which is something that Tommy shouldn't be taking at all, because of course he doesn't have the numbers. And look at how he's fighting next to the opponent's docks, just not gonna be getting better. This wasn't really such a great engagement. He lost just a few boats, but still, even a few boats in a situation like this could be quite important. Could be quite important for your game. Just keeping Arkin busy, it seems like, so that he can only sling. And he is even having a few buildings like archer ranges. So is he actually attempting some kind of landing, or was he maybe a bit earlier? Not entirely certain, but well, what we do know is that it actually didn't work out, as blue and purple are finally engaging from the right side onto reinforcements of red, but he's having so many boats here. Not entirely certain why he's actually retreating from this position, because he's just gonna be winning in there. And the other flank is just basically chasing after purple boats. It's not all that great. Not all that great, but still in the long run he could be maybe even trying to somehow free the island of his teammate. Okay, so that seems to be working very well for the SlayeRs. As at the top, the numbers are definitely very good. Definitely very good for Zirael. As Tommy is right now interested in the island. And yeah, with all the gold in there, it seems that they are talking about this one. Yeah, they probably are. But I'm kind of expecting at this point that Angelina Jolie should be, or rather Angelina Jolie, sorry, Zirael should be a bit more cautious about this middle of the map. And he should be probably trying to even drop a castle about here. I'm thinking that would be definitely a great idea, because he's right now wide open with how the shape of the island is. And if this is gonna be under control of RoRs, which it seems like so far that it will be, then he's wide open to be basically attacked on the land. I'm not entirely certain he's gonna be having enough in him to withstand that kind of pressure from the enemy team. Alright, so plenty of red and blue in here in not any kind of sufficient anything, as they're apparently gonna be landing exactly as they hoped for and talked about. So it's gonna be in this little island, which is, well, it is an island, but it is the island connected to actually red. So this is weird timing for landing. Trying to hide the boat in there, maybe, could be, but at any rate, if we can actually land here and if we can drop a castle in there, Angelina Jolie, then that of course is gonna be a huge victory for them, because of course he's gonna be having a very easy time to attack his opponent in there. Otherwise, purple is already running home, as red is of course having plenty of boats in there as well, and red is also trying to find, or rather found, some extra docks at the bottom side of his island, because of course he kinda knows that he doesn't need to, or shouldn't be relying on just those docks at the top, because the situation could be getting hairy, and well, he doesn't want anything like that. Well, the situation is all over the place kinda, because this thing so far seems to be working. Yeah, take care. That didn't work out. Angelina Jolie, kind of epic fail right there. Sending the transport boat right into the enemy fire. That didn't really work out. But with that kind of landing, yeah, he cannot really hope to succeed. He needs to do a whole lot better job, and kind of thinking he might actually want to give up on this island and just go here. They should have probably just gone here, try to control this kind of peninsula, and then through the choke point go onto the red side of the island and win like that. It's not like they really need to win the water in here. All they need to do is basically kill red from the land. And since the yellow opponent is basically just slinging, he's not gonna be ready for anything interesting. So they don't need to worry about him all that much, to be honest. Well, some kind of weird decision making right about now by RoRs. Seems like. So in the meantime, of course, red is just kind of occupying the waters, doing a good job against the blue player, trying to control him as much as he can, as he is attempting another castle. Already lost plenty of villages in there, but come on. Oh well, that's a bit of a graveyard full of villages, apparently. So already 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 9, 10 villages dead, trying to finish the castle, and they still failed. Yeah, poor guys. Together with the villages that died in here on sea, this is actually a pretty significant blow to Angelina's economy. You can see they're down to 58 villages. Tommy is at 79, whereas the opponents are at 54, which is the same pretty much as Angelina Jolie, and then Zirael is at 83. Yeah, well, those decisions in there. So that's already slightly better economy for actually the SlayeRs. And the sling is so far really working very well indeed. And since the gold is not safe at the bottom, how's it looking with the top one? It's already gone. Oh, that's a problem. Now that is a significant problem for the yellow player, because he cannot sling gold right about now. He cannot sling gold because he doesn't have this one available. And that's something that actually red should be taken into account and trying to save his teammate, because he needs the gold mine in there. And if he cannot even sling, then yeah, well, that's gonna be kind of hard. It's gonna be really hard for him. He's having plenty of gold still yet, but it's of course gonna be running out reasonably soon, because he's gonna be running out the gold mine himself. As the second one is already finished. Yes, it is. I think it was about here. But yeah, that's already gone. And it seems that we are looking at a pretty important battle in here at the bottom between purple and red. And there is another engagement somewhere else. Not really. But red is still having basically second flank, second armada at the top, keeping Angelina Jolie busy. But yeah, well, he's still making at least a few boats in there, helping his teammate. And with the reinforcements from purple, oh well, that's one hell of a reinforcement in there. That's gonna be a whole lot more than red can actually handle, especially with having half the boats somewhere else and all the castles protecting Angelina Jolie very well. So this is looking like it might be heading into some kind of deciding battle. Oh well, this is gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard on Zerail. Quite significantly so, and I'm not exactly seeing how it could be withstanding this kind of amount of boats. Well, let's check the achievements if there's some kind of sling on RoRs. No, there isn't. So as the sling was working very well for Zerail, it seems like not really any longer, even though he's trying to even land, it seems like. Maybe hoping that he can help his teammate or basically just conquer this island for the gold. Maybe. Yeah, you can see he's right now coming for the gold in here, and that's definitely not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all, especially if we can finish the castle in there. That's gonna be plenty of gold mines for him. And for the opponents, how is the gold actually running out? Well, he's already establishing trade. So the gold is already coming down in there. Let's see, already some rams. They're gonna be probably coming for this island. Basically clean up with yellow. And for the blue player, he is still having at least a bit of gold. But the gold is definitely running out. So this is gonna be apparently war of attrition. As the top castle finish it. Oh, he was just a bit too greedy. He was too greedy, and he's maybe gonna be losing 650 stone in there. In this castle if he actually doesn't delete it himself. Oh well, come on. It seems like that he's gonna be finishing the castle. This is gonna be a huge help. A huge help to his efforts in here. Gonna be losing a few villages in there, but of course the castle is finished. This is supremely important for him, because it will also kinda give him extra boats that don't go anywhere, and it's gonna be making the stuff very hard for both Tommy and Angelina Jolie to push through. Reinforcements still on the road from the other side of the map, and that's also the reason why he's actually making the rocks at the bottom, because he knows the way around the island is very long, because apparently they cannot pass here then, and they need to go all the way through the middle of the map, and that's very long, as this castle is gonna be killed. Yeah, that's gonna be 650 stone dead, as all the villages are killed. And come on, delete, please, red, delete this and get the resources back. Oh man, this hurts. Yeah, well, that's kinda unfortunate, because of course he could be using the extra castle about here. But unfortunately that's not gonna be happening. This is gonna be taken advantage of by Tommy quite significantly so, and it seemed that maybe in the end he did. Maybe in the end he actually did, because that seemed to be actually dying a bit sooner than it should have by the normal shooting. So I'm kinda thinking he actually did delete it at the last moment, which could have given him about, yeah, he's right now having 900 stone, would have given him about, I don't know, 600 extra stone, rather stone back, and yep, it seems that he did in the end. That was really the last moment though. Those little things can decide their games very easily in there. In the meantime, of course, there's the landing as we have been expecting. In there, with all the siege rams, there's gonna be, of course, plenty more siege into Yellow Island. And he's not gonna be having any kind of really chance against this, because he's not prepared for any attack. He's probably out of gold altogether. Yeah, you can see, oh well, out of absolutely everything, as he has been sending everything to the opponents. Well, trying to protect the gold mine in there at least. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all, because right now he's probably expecting that the opponents are also having problems with the gold. But yeah, well, it's gonna be turning more or less into 2 versus 1. And it's gonna be just a question if somehow RoRs are gonna be messing up or not. Because they are having pretty good islands for trade, let's say that. Start the trade from about here all the way here. This is gonna be quite good for Angelina Jolie. And for Tommy, even for Tommy, it's not all that bad. From this position, somewhere here, It's not really that bad. It's not really long, but better than nothing. And it should be working quite alright. Quite alright to at least get some kind of gold for the boats for himself. Alright, so villagers, that's gonna be the only army that he's right now having. As purple apparently needs to be a bit more careful in there, as the castles are gonna be produced all across the island, just getting all the gold just for themselves. There's still one extra island with this gold mine, but yeah, kinda 3 gold mines are better than 1. It's usually slightly better. So that's a nice idea, and well, of course, this one potentially could be still coming in there, and it's gonna be big quest. Big quest actually in here for SlayeRs to somehow deny this gold, because if they cannot, this is gonna be huge. This is just basic untouched 7 gold mines. That's 7 times 8, 5,600 gold, and that's just a winning condition right now in this battle. That's quite easily a winning condition right there. So this castle is probably gonna be finished. It doesn't seem like that we're gonna be seeing any kind of fight right here. And what's gonna be following next? Because it's gonna be siege from Angelina Jolie. Is he already landing? Yes, yes. He has already landed, and not only with the 1 villager coming for the siege workshops in there, he is already having some extra rams already trying to kill the dogs and whatnot. So it seems that we are heading into the very late game, and still the SlayeRs do have a chance, but he needs to be able to defend against what is coming for him. Of course, yellow is more or less dead. He is like kinda at this point literally dead. He's down to about 33 villages. There's not much of a chance to actually survive all that much longer. You can see that purple has already fully landed here with the castle and all the buildings and whatnot. So yellow is, well, he can just call it a quits. Or maybe have some kind of daring escape. Because red could give him some kind of escort. Just send a few of those there. You have transport boats. You could possibly save your teammate, who is still having a few villages in the safety in there on the little island. But yeah, well, this would be probably the best thing that yellow could be doing. Sending the yellow villagers in this island, getting all the gold, and sending it to the red player. I'm thinking that would be the best for some kind of chance on winning the game. But at this point, it's looking very dire for them, and I'm kind of thinking that RoRs are smelling blood. They're smelling blood in the water and on the land as well, and they are probably right now interested in closing the game in full. With barracks coming up, all the siege workshops right now from blue already killing plenty of dogs at the top side. It seems, of course, that Angelina Jolie is gonna be taking the battle to land, and that's one that, of course, the Viking won't be able to win, because he is fully engaged in the water, and even in the water he's having significant issues keeping the opponents at bay, especially considering we are looking at cannon galleons finally for Tommy. That's gonna be making things fairly easy to get rid of the castles on this little island. So it's gonna be what? TC? It looked like a TC, I'm thinking, for the yellow player. I'm thinking so, at any rate. Still battle going on. With purple sending plenty of reinforcements in, it's always gonna be very hard, because he's sending the reinforcements across the whole map. So far away. Whereas red is basically making all of it right next to the battlefield, and that's the reason why he's able to be still in the game for this long. Okay, so TC is gone. Of course, the cannon galleons are gonna be mopping up absolutely everything in there together with the other army on the land as well, with the villagers, yeah, just waiting for the slaughter, and plenty of extra resources available right now for purple player. Plenty of stone, and mainly this huge gold. Huge gold. This was a nice idea by yellow to actually try and at least slow the opponent down, and unfortunately that's all it's going to be, because there are plenty of rams in there, and that's gonna be it. So we are at this point, even though SlayeRs are not really giving up. Oh well, even through Trebuchet coming on through castle in there, it's not looking all that promising for them, and it seems that RoRs are gonna be taking the home map of their opponents after a very lengthy battle, though. Very lengthy battle, and very equal one. So even though you could be thinking that, looking at the ratings, RoRs should be kinda big, or rather big, should be having the bigger advantage, because they are both 2k, Angelina Jolie and Tommy. Yeah, well, it's map dependent. It's definitely map dependent, especially on Arena they are good, but on other maps like water maps, that was a clever choice by SlayeRs. And even with them being like 1750 and 1800 plus, maybe 1815 I'm not entirely certain right now, but he is a very good player. A very good player. Well, everybody above like 1700 is a pretty good player already in Age of Empires on Wuble. Yeah, well, it seems that in the end it's gonna be RoR taking the very important win. And that's gonna be putting, of course, SlayeRs into a difficult situation, because they have so far, if they won today 2-0, they could have had very good shot at advancing into playoffs through the third spot. But right about now, it's gonna be 4 losses for them. And they have to hope they actually are going to be able to win at least one game. So that means basically home map of RoR. And that will keep them on the third spot, potentially giving them some chance if things go their way in the other divisions, which is not entirely certain. But yeah, well, RoRs are already at 4 losses. So if they were to win 2-0, they could be basically in the same situation as RoR, or rather as SlayeRs, and are gonna be just waiting for the results of the other divisions. But they are still in the running, most definitely, and they cannot afford to lose a single game. So yeah, basically, the next game is gonna be deciding everything for both of these teams. If RoR lose and SlayeRs win, SlayeRs are gonna be the one looking for the playoffs, and if it's gonna be coming for RoRs, then they are gonna be hoping for the playoffs. Oh yeah, that's right proper last match of the group stage to be played, with quite some importance for both of these clans. Okay, this seems like still open. Apparently right now it's gonna be finally called the GG, as yellow is completed that, and yeah, much more importantly, this gold mine is right now free, and yeah, that's the winning condition, quite definitely. Quite definitely so. So nicely played, and with finally even some extra units, like for example cavalry archers trying to get rid of the economy on the red island. Yep, the economies are just gonna be kinda toastish for SlayeRs. So very good fight indeed. And in the end, RoRs are gonna be taking a very valuable victory, and we're gonna be heading for the home map of them. Hour-long battle on a 2v2 islands. That's how equal that was. That's how equal that was. So, high score for Tommy. He was definitely the most important player in the game, but SlayeR was equally important, has to be said. Both of these Vikings really were the ones who were having the game in their hands. And with the sling, definitely worked very well for SlayeR, has to be said. That's the reason why he was in the game for so long. So good cooperation. But yeah, well, usually with the sling, you are having just some kind of window of opportunity where you need to win. And if you cannot win by certain time, then it's always gonna be getting worse and worse. And that's kind of what happened here. You can see Tommy, huge economy. Absolutely huge economy. That's good. That's good. Indeed. Top villages 99. Both Tommy and Angelina Jolie. But SlayeR at 92. Not really far behind. Okay, GG.